Hey everyone, I'm working to hit 1,000 subscribers, and I need your help to get there. If you enjoy this content, please hit that subscribe button right now.
So let me ask you something that's going to make a lot of Phillies fans uncomfortable. Is John Middleton actually helping this team, or is he the reason we can't get over the hump? I know that sounds insane coming from a fan base that spent decades begging for an owner who would actually spend money, but hear me out, because what's happening behind the scenes in Philadelphia is way more toxic than anyone wants to admit. We finally got an owner willing to open his wallet, and somehow that's created an even bigger problem than being cheap ever did. John Middleton loves to talk about how much he cares, how badly he wants to win, how he's willing to spend stupid money to bring a championship to Philadelphia. Great, fantastic. But here's the thing. Nobody's saying out loud, caring too much as an owner is just as dangerous as not caring enough. Maybe more dangerous, actually, because at least when your owner is cheap and hands-off, the baseball people can do their jobs without constant interference. What we've got right now is an owner who thinks his checkbook makes him a baseball genius, and it's destroying this franchise from the inside out. Let's start with the most obvious example of Middleton's meddling, the Bryce Harper contract. Now, before you lose your minds, I'm not saying Harper was a bad signing. I'm saying the way that signing happened perfectly illustrates the problem with having an over-involved owner. By all accounts, Dombrowski and the front office had concerns about giving a 13-year deal to any player, let alone one with Harper's injury history. But Middleton wanted his marquee signing. He wanted to make a splash. He wanted to be the guy who brought Bryce Harper to Philadelphia, so he overruled his baseball people and made it happen. And now we're locked into that deal through Harper's age 39 season, and there's not a damn thing anyone can do about it if it goes sideways. And that's the pattern with Middleton. He falls in love with the big names, the splashy moves, the headlines. He wants to be Jerry Jones, standing in the spotlight, getting credit for building a winner. But Jerry Jones is a cautionary tale, not a role model. The Cowboys have been a dysfunctional mess for decades precisely because Jones can't stay out of his own way. And that's exactly what's happening in Philadelphia. Middleton's ego and his desperate need to be seen as the savior of Philadelphia baseball is getting in the way of sound decision-making. You want proof? Look at how the Trea Turner signing went down. Reports came out that the front office had reservations about the length of that deal. 11 years for a 30-year-old shortstop scared the baseball people, as it should have. But Middleton didn't want to lose another big-name free agent after missing out on previous targets. He didn't want the embarrassment. He didn't want fans and media killing him for being cheap. So he pushed for the deal to get done, consequences be damned. Now we're stuck with Turner until he's 41 years old. And when that contract becomes an albatross in 4 or 5 years, it won't be Middleton who pays the price. It'll be the fans watching a declining player eat up $30 million in payroll. Here's what drives me crazy about owner interference. You hire smart baseball people specifically because they understand the game better than you do. Dombrowski has built championship teams. He knows how to evaluate talent. He understands roster construction. But what's the point of having that expertise if the owner is going to override decisions whenever they don't align with his personal desires? It's like hiring a financial advisor and then ignoring their advice because you saw a stock tip on television. It's worse than useless because now you've got confused accountability and nobody knows who's actually running the team. The bullpen situation is another perfect example of Middleton's fingerprints ruining everything. For years, the Phillies have had bullpen issues. For years, the solution has been obvious. Spend real money on proven relievers instead of bargain hunting and hoping reclamation projects work out. But Middleton's approach has been completely backwards. He'll spend $300 million on a position player without blinking. But when it comes to the bullpen, suddenly we're shopping in the clearance aisle. Why? Because relievers don't generate ticket sales. They don't sell jerseys. They don't get Middleton on the back page of the Philadelphia Inquirer, so he doesn't prioritize them, even though any competent baseball person will tell you that bullpens win championships in the modern game. This isn't speculation, by the way. People within the organization have leaked this stuff. Beat writers have reported on Middleton's involvement in roster decisions. We know he's in the room when deals are being discussed. We know he has opinions on specific players. We know he's pushed for certain moves to happen. That's not how successful franchises operate. Look at the Dodgers, look at the Rays, look at any consistently successful organization. The owners provide resources and then they get out of the way. They trust their people to do their jobs. They don't micromanage. They don't override baseball decisions because of personal preferences or PR concerns. And let's talk about the culture this creates in the front office. When everyone knows the owner might overrule them at any moment, what's the incentive to make tough decisions? What's the point of doing the hard work of player evaluation and long-term planning if Middleton's just going to do whatever makes him feel good in the moment? You end up with a front office that's second-guessing itself constantly, afraid to push back on the owner's bad ideas, more focused on managing up than actually building the best possible team. That's organizational dysfunction, and it starts at the very top. The manager situation is yet another area where Middleton's involvement has been problematic. Rob Thompson has done a good job overall. I'm not going to kill him, but there have been plenty of questionable decisions that should have led to serious conversations about whether he's the right guy for this job. Bullpen management in particular has been a disaster at times, but Thompson seems to have Middleton's personal support, which means he's essentially untouchable regardless of results. And that's not accountability, that's cronyism. And when managers know they have the owner's backing independent of performance, they stop feeling pressure to evolve and improve. Here's what really bothers me about this whole situation. Middleton genuinely believes he's helping. He thinks his involvement and his willingness to spend make him a great owner. He probably sees himself as the anti-Sixers, the anti-Eagles, the guy who actually cares and invests in winning, but caring isn't enough. Money isn't enough. Good intentions don't win championships. Process wins championships. Smart decision-making wins championships. And you can't have that when the owner is constantly putting his thumb on the scale. The tragedy is that Middleton has given this franchise resources that most teams would kill for. The payroll is consistently in the top 5 in baseball. He's not Dave Glass refusing to spend. He's not Bob Nutting pocketing revenue sharing. He's genuinely invested financially in trying to win. But he's squandering that advantage by not trusting the people he hired to spend that money wisely. It's like having a Ferrari and insisting on driving it yourself when you don't know how to handle a high-performance vehicle. The resource is there, but the execution is flawed because the wrong person is making crucial decisions. Look at the farm system, which is completely barren right now. That didn't happen by accident. That happened because Middleton wants to win now immediately without any patience for development or long-term thinking. So prospects get traded for rental players. The draft budget gets allocated toward quick fixes instead of sustainable infrastructure. Player development gets deprioritized because it doesn't produce immediate results. And in 5 years, when this expensive veteran core is washed up and we have nothing coming behind them, we're going to be right back where we started, except with a higher payroll and less organizational depth. The truly frustrating part is that this is all preventable. Middleton doesn't have to be this way. He could choose to be the best kind of owner, the one who provides resources and then trusts his people. He could model himself after Mark Walter with the Dodgers or Hal Steinbrenner with the Yankees, owners who spend big but delegate baseball decisions to their front offices. Instead, he's chosen the Jerry Jones path, and it's going to end the same way Jones's involvement has ended in Dallas, with a lot of hype, a lot of spending, and no championships to show for it. What's the solution here? Honestly, I don't know if there is one. Middleton owns the team. He's not going anywhere. He's not going to suddenly develop self-awareness and realize he's the problem. So we're stuck hoping that somehow Dombrowski and the front office can figure out how to manage up, how to navigate around Middleton's worst instincts, how to build a winner despite having an owner who thinks he knows better than his baseball people. That's not a recipe for sustained success. That's organizational dysfunction with expensive players, and expensive dysfunction is still dysfunction. 2 straight playoff disappointments should be a wake-up call. This roster construction isn't working. This approach isn't getting us where we need to go. But I guarantee you Middleton's takeaway isn't going to be that he needs to step back and let baseball people make baseball decisions. It's going to be that we need to spend more, sign bigger names, make splashier moves. And that's going to dig the hole even deeper, lock us into even more immovable contracts, and push the championship window even further out of reach. Mark my words, 5 years from now, we're going to look back at this era as a massive waste of resources and potential, and John Middleton's fingerprints are going to be all over it.